Good morning. It is currently 1:15 in the morning on Saturday. What day is today? I have no idea. I think it's the 20th. Is that right? Or the 21st? 21st. Saturday, March 21st. It's currently 1:15. And we are underway. Got 3 rides in so far. Started at midnight, just after midnight. This is the first opportunity that I've had to get on the camera and talk a little bit about what's going on. I'm stacked up with reservations for the rest of the morning, starting at 2 a.m., going to the airport, and then I have a bunch of reservations down in the Sacramento, downtown area, Natomas area, kind of for the rest of the morning. It's pretty stacked up. Actually, I can probably show you that right now. I am driving right now, which I know I normally should be dilly-dallying on my phone at this point in time. So here you go. Here's my reservations that I have. Again, pretty stacked up. They want me to go to Elk Grove, and I'm not going to do that. But here's the rest of them. Pretty solid. We should be pretty busy. Hopefully we can get some fill-in rides in between the reservations. But right now, that's pretty much the plan. We got like 45 minutes until my first reservation. So I'm heading back to downtown Folsom to get some more people, and because it's going to be getting busy. At least it's been pretty consistent so far. But besides all that, we got a lot to talk about. Most importantly, I want to talk a little bit about the new Uber Pro program that's rolling out, how they've merged the Advantage mode and Uber Pro, and my thoughts on that. Quite frankly, I think this is going to impact a lot of drivers, especially if you make your Uber career off of trying to cherry pick everything. This is really going to hurt you. But I think there's some ways that you can kind of defend yourself against this model that they're rolling out. Because I think the model that they're trying to do really forces you, if you want to stay at the top, it forces you to take a lot of rides from them. And I think that's their plan. That's what they're trying to do with this, is they're trying to force out the career cherry pickers who have a very low acceptance rate, and trying to basically force you to take more rides. But we'll talk more about that. Also, just some channel updates with me and driving and everything. We'll talk a little bit about that today. If not, I'm going to do a video tomorrow, and I think maybe talk about it then. So then maybe talk about that in the next video. But right now, I need to get myself back down into Old Folsom, try to get another ride here before my reservation kicks off, and keep this morning rolling before I head downtown and race out to the airport. So let me make my way downtown, because I am driving and not the car driving, and I'll be back with some updates, and we'll talk about the new Uber Pro program and everything else that's going on. Oh, and I got a crazy ride that I did yesterday. This was a first, so we'll talk about that too. All right, let me get down there. I'll be back with updates throughout the morning as normal, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, quick update. Cruising right along. Just banged out. What am I doing? Finished my second reservation of the morning. Next one's at 3:50. It's currently 3:12, so I got a little time. I'm gonna head down into the downtown area and see what I can do down there for a little bit. Maybe get a ride or two, a little shorty or something. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this crazy ride that I had yesterday. This has never happened to me before, and this was probably the most insane ride I've ever done. I got a ride that came in. It's from a pastor named Cindy. As soon as I got the ride, I started getting like messages from the person that were just really weird, cryptic. I'm gonna put I recorded the text so you can see it. I'll put those up right now. Anyway, this person's texting me, telling me to, hurry up and get to the destination. And then there was something that came in, the message said something along the lines of, my girlfriend saw my itinerary, and I just need you to go to the destination or something, and like, you know, please go to the destination, all this kind of weird stuff. I mean, it was just really out of the blue weird stuff. And then they're like getting question marks like, are you there yet? You know, just all this stuff. You'll see it on the screen. Anyway, long story short, I got to the destination. I said I arrived. The person said to basically leave and go to the drop-off, which was back here at the airport, without them. Apparently this person had to show that they were going to the airport for some reason, so their girlfriend could see that they are basically out of town, I guess. I don't know. But I did a trip without a passenger because the passenger wanted me to do that. I have never been asked to do that. I went to the pickup point, I stopped, waited, and then the person said to go ahead and go to the airport without them. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll do that. So that's what I did. I've never been asked to do a ride without a passenger, from a passenger before, because apparently they were trying to cover something up. They didn't want this other person, the girlfriend or whatever, which I'm assuming is Cindy in this equation, to know that the person left and went to the airport when they didn't. So crazy ride. I would never have expected for that to happen ever. And quite frankly, I was kind of really miffed by that whole thing. Like, do I cancel this? Do I do what they say? I mean, they're telling me to do, this is what they're telling me to do, which is really weird because the person that's texting me is Cindy. And maybe Cindy does have a girlfriend. I don't know. But you would think that I don't know on the passenger side if you can see the messages that are still on there or not. But anyway, crazy ride. I out of the blue, just craziness early in the morning. I was really kind of just like, what the hell is going on here? Anyway, we're off to go get Nathan here and do this little short ride, which is a pretty decent ride actually. And is that West Sac? Looks like it is. We're gonna go do this ride, and then I think that's probably gonna set me up to go to my reservation after that, which is perfect. While we're en route to go get Nathan here, let's talk a little bit about the new Uber Pro program and the merging of the Advantage Mode and Uber Pro rewards program. Quite frankly, I think this is Uber's answer to cherry picking and people basically having super low acceptance rates. Because there's only one way that I can see that this, well, first of all, with the new Uber Pro Rewards thing, if your acceptance rate falls below 25%, you're going to get kicked down into the lower tiers, which means that you're not going to get the exclusive rides and a lot of direct offer for rides. You're going to be feeding at the bottom for Trip Radar stuff with everyone else that's in the blue and gold, which quite frankly was going to, if that's the case, that's going to really hurt because Trip Radar rides don't count towards your acceptance rate. And if that's what you're getting is the scraps that are falling off the table from the people that are at the higher tiers, it's going to be really difficult to move yourself back up into those higher tiers if all you're doing is a bunch of predominantly Trip Radar rides. Tristan from the Future Millionaire Rideshare, I'll link the video here. He did a really good video on basically how he's looking at basically combating this change in the way that Uber's doing the rides. And essentially what he's looking at is on the slow days, on the days that are the midweek or whatever, he's looking at doing the short rides, that he can keep that he'll accept the little shorty rides that most people don't want, and that'll help boost up his acceptance rate. So when the time comes when there's something significant in an event, concert, bars close on Friday and Saturday nights when it's busy, that he can be selective at that point, which will bring his acceptance rate back down, which I agree with. I think that's a great strategy to combat this idea that you have to have this high acceptance rate now to maintain the status to be able to get good, decent rides out of Uber. The other thing that I would do, and this looking at this, and I'm thinking back yesterday when I was driving back from the airport, I was getting rides, just crazy rides, like in Davis and Woodland that were really far away, and I'm not driving 15 miles to go take someone a mile and a half, those kinds of rides. That basically I had to turn the app off, because every time I'm declining those rides, it's lowering my acceptance rate, which brings me to Eddie, the rideshare driver, and I think he, a long time ago, said one of his videos, and I never thought, I didn't think anything of it then. Now, I do think that this is a good strategy as well. That as soon as you get a ride, and you're on a ride, that you swipe up and hit the last request. So you stop anything that's coming in while you're in a ride, because the reality is that you may be getting offers while you're on a ride that, again, are crazy, want you to go crazy distances to go pick up people, or just don't fit or not profitable rides for you, and that's going to lower your acceptance rate. Because they kind of have you in a corner now where if you're not having a high 25% or higher acceptance rate and maintaining that, you're going to fall down into those lower tiers quickly. And I think it's going to be extremely difficult to crawl your way back out of there. Maybe this thins the herd, I don't know. But, they're trying to force the driver's hands to accept what they offer. Plus, this also puts them in a position to where they can continue to squeeze what they're paying out in drivers, because in order for you to maintain status, you have to take what they're offering, which again eliminates the idea of cherry picking and just looking for that needle in a haystack ride. So I am a diamond driver. I think I'm a diamond driver. Diamond driver. I want to maintain that, because obviously that tier keeps me getting the direct offers that I want. But in order for me to maintain that, I'm going to have to institute those two strategies. One, during the week, do the little dinky rides in town to keep the acceptance rate up real high. So when the weekend comes, like right now, I can be selective, take the rides that make the most sense for me, and if that hits my acceptance rate and lowers it a little bit, that's going to be fine, because I can bring it back up during the week. Also, I may have to switch and shift a little bit more towards Lyft as well, to see what I can do with them. Lyft right now, their payouts, it's very rare to get any ride that's like $1 per mile or more, at least without the turbo boost in play. And even sometimes with the turbo boost, when it's 50% or a little bit like between 50 and 70%, they're manipulating the driver payout even with that boost to keep it just under $1 per mile at times. I don't know if they're messing with the insurance, the commercial insurance. I really haven't looked at it, but it just seems it's very, very rare that you get a ride with Lyft, at least for me, that is at $1 per mile minimum, which is what I'm looking for at minimum. I'd like it to be $1.50, $1.60. That'd be ideal, but I can go to $1. And it's with Lyft, that's very rare. But anyway, tell me what you think about the new Uber Pro Rewards. Tell me what you're going to do with this situation. Do you agree that you're going to have to take the rides during the middle, during some parts to kind of keep that acceptance rate up. So when the good rides do come at whatever time, Friday and Saturday nights at a concert, at an event, to be able to be selective at that point in time. Do you think that's a good strategy? Also, are you stopping requests as soon as you get one to stop the offers from coming in? What do you think about that? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, especially from my fellow drivers out there. I think that really going to have to look at this and see how this plays out. I don't know if it's rolled out here in Sacramento or not yet, but I'm sure it's going to at the end of the month. So we'll see. But stay tuned for that. We're gonna have to mess around with that and see how we do. I think right now my acceptance rate is like just below 25% too. So I need to get it up and so I can maintain that. Because I think as soon as you drop down below, I think they're going to immediately push you down into the gold if you drop down below. So we'll see. All right, I'm 2 minutes away from Nathan. We're going to go get Nathan here, take him to wherever he's going. I think it's a pretty short ride. There's only like 2 miles for $11. So we're going to do that. And Cat, get out of the road. We're going to do that, and then I'll be off to my reservation, which is at 3:50, which is ideal. And then I'll be back here with some more updates in a little bit. All right, I'll be back. Well, that's a wrap. I'm going to cut it short this morning. My next actually, I need to cancel this late reservation. I'm going to do that right now. I do have this late reservation. I'm getting all these other reservations, as you can see on the screen right now, but they're all in Davis and Elk Grove, and I don't want to drive out there. And there's some decent rides in there, but I'm not interested in driving out all that way, so I'm going to cancel this one and call it a day. I'll be back at it later on tonight. With the usual start at midnight, and so no loss there. Anyway, in the next video, we'll talk a little bit more about some changes to the channel and everything else that's going on with me. A little update on what's going on with me. But in the meantime, let's look at the numbers. The numbers are going to be a little skewed only because of the bleed in from yesterday into today. When I looked at the total, I tallied it myself. Today's total was 108.93. Not bad for 4 hours of work. I'll take it. Pretty much all reservations except for the beginning there. Not too bad. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this whole the Uber Pro Rewards as well. I think there's more to it. I think I really need to we need to really figure out what's the best way to kind of defend myself against what they're trying to do, which is trying to box you into a corner to force you to take rides that maybe you don't want to take, because if you don't take them, then you crush your acceptance rate, and then that's going to backfire on you down the road. Let's go look. So there's my acceptance rate right now, 28%, which is very good. God damn it. I was just at 5 stars. How did it go down? Someone gave me 4 stars. That was today. What the hell? Unbelievable. I swear to God, passengers sometimes. It always makes me wonder who does that. Anyway, there's my acceptance rate and cancellation rate, which is good, and it keeps me in the up in the top tier. I mean, essentially, with this Uber Pro Rewards, I mean, you have to accept at minimum 1 every 4 rides. But if they throw a bunch of shit at you and you get into a thing where they're just dumping bad rides at you, that could go south pretty quick for you and get you kicked out of the top tier. And I really think that's going to be a huge disadvantage overall, because if you're at the bottom and you're not getting the exclusive ride requests, which basically means that you're going to be getting trip radar rides, I mean, you're trying to make a living off of feeding on the scraps, which is not going to be good. And it's going to be brutal to try to get yourself back up, I think, if you drop below, which I think is their angle, right? That if they force you to have to take rides so you get into a situation where your acceptance rate's getting low, they're going to start just dumping those shitty rides on you, knowing that you're going to have to take it with the chance of falling down below, which you're trying not to do. I mean, in some sense, it kind of bothers me that they're doing that. Also, I think it's kind of fishy because they're forcing your hand. They're making you do something that as a independent contractor you shouldn't have to do. You should be able to pick and choose what you want to do, not be steered in a direction that they want you to do because it benefits them, not necessarily you, right? Everything I've talked about this before. Everything that they do at this point in time is about benefiting them first and you're last. It's you, the customer, it's them, the customer, then you. And the you as the driver is way down at the bottom. And they talk a good game, but you got to watch what they're doing. And I think this is one of those things that they're doing. I mean, quite frankly, the pro rewards thing meant nothing to me. There was no benefit to me whatsoever. I didn't take advantage of anything that was offered there at all. The only thing that would come into play is if I had to call the driver support and they had the dedicated line, which was very nice. That would be it. But that's once a year maybe that I've had to call them. So there's no benefit there. Everything else, there's no benefit. I don't take advantage of their EV discounts because Lyft has a better one. I think at this point in time, because I'm not driving so much for Lyft, I'll probably lose that benefit, and maybe I will start taking advantage of the one that Uber has. The only problem with that is that the chargers that are at the airport are not the same provider that Uber uses, which sucks, which is one nice thing about Lyft. But there's nothing to it. And the advantage mode, I do get to take advantage of because I'm at the tier that I'm at or whatever, or at least my metrics meet the requirement for that, which was the measure for the advantage mode. But now that they put it together, it really it changes the game big time. I think this is a pretty significant change. I think this is going to really impact a lot of drivers, especially those that are geared solely on trying to cherry pick rides. Dudes that sit in the airport queue and wait for that diamond in the rough ride that's gonna make their day. Those guys are gonna be hurt for sure, because I know they're not doing the volume to offset the rides that are going to get pushed at them in the airport queue that they're going to be declining. Is going to hurt their acceptance rate. And other drivers that try to cherry pick out all the time, it's going to hurt. They're they're going to suffer for this on this change, because it's going to push them down. I know, like, Levi is he's a blue driver, doesn't really pay any attention. I'm curious to see what he has to say about this new change and how he sees it's going to impact him. So Levi, if you're watching, I'm curious to know what your feelings are and how you think this is going to impact you. So that's going to do it for me today. So I will be back at it tomorrow, which will be the next video that you see. We'll talk a little bit about the channel, what's going on with the channel. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with me, and whatever else happens throughout the day. But otherwise, that's going to wrap it up for today. All right. Leave a comment down below regarding the new Uber Pro Rewards thing. How you see this? How is this going to impact you if you're a driver? Do you think it's going to impact you? I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. And in the meantime, if you made it this far in the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm really trying to get the numbers up to 1,000. That would be fantastic. So I appreciate your support. And shout out to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys jumping on board. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. All right, thanks.